What's up, guys? It's Meg. We're back here with another daily talk. Today is kind of a half question and also just something I really want to talk about, still from Game of Thrones, from the season 6 finale. So there is a question here that I'm going to answer. It's from Mitch MN. It says, do you think Cersei will be wiped out next season by Daenerys? Because she's outnumbered so bad, or will she somehow get the upper hand? It seems too obvious that Cersei would lose, but that's why I think she won't. And this question kind of ties in with, I wanted to talk about Cersei because she made some huge moves in the season 6 finale, okay? Like, my mind was blown. I get chills just thinking about it because it was so unexpected. No, I always expected her to do something to avoid, to avoid death, because she was counting on a battle by combat, and she had, or a trial by combat, excuse me, and she had the mountain, and she was very confident in that. When the High Sparrow and her son Tommen, King Tommen, decided that they were going to, outlaw that, do away with that system of trial by combat, she, you could see the kind of panic in her eyes just briefly, and she had to come up with an alternative plan. Well, boy, did she ever. That plan was intense. I don't really think any of us were expecting her to take down the whole place and everybody along with it. But, she pretty effectively got rid of her enemies. It's kind of funny to think she had to go through all of that just to get rid of the High Sparrow and his followers when she's the one who put the High Sparrow in his position in the first place. What an idiot move. So, the biggest thing here, so as far as Cersei and who will kill her, I think 100%, if and when she dies, it will be by Arya. I 100% believe this firmly, that she's been on Arya's list for a very long time. I'm pretty sure, right? I like, when she was repeating her list in her head in past seasons, I'm 100% sure, well, I guess I shouldn't be 100% sure because I'm not entirely, that Cersei Lannister was on her list. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she's on our list here. And, Arya has taken care of quite a few people on her list as well. So, that question about when, or who Cersei will die by, I am 100% sure that Arya is going to, I'm confident in saying that. I guess I'm not sure because nobody knows those spoilers, but I'm very certain that Arya will be the one to kill her. And actually, it would be very interesting to see what face she puts on in order to do that. I think it would, you're right, it's not going to be easy for Daenerys, and it seems like it is, because she's coming to the Seven Kingdoms with a massive army. It's huge, and she has allies all over the place, okay? So it makes sense that she would potentially be able to take over King's Landing right away. I don't know that it would necessarily be super easy right away, but, I definitely think she'll be able to take over King's Landing. Whether or not she'll be able to keep it in the long run is the bigger question here. I don't think that Cersei will die by Daenerys during that fight. She is a survivor. She's definitely going to survive, hopefully only to be taken out by Arya. I also wanted to talk about Jaime. Jaime arrived back just in time to see the crowning of Cersei as queen again. Now, I am under the impression, based on the way he looked at the city, and he seemed like he was in shock over the smoke billowing, and it seemed like he was not aware. So it doesn't appear that a raven was sent to him at all. I don't really know the time frame here. There were a lot of weird time jumps here in this episode. So it was a little bit confusing as to how long certain things had happened, They had enough time for Jaime to get back, so it's hard to say because I don't know how far away Jaime was to begin with in relation to King's Landing. So it's a little bit confusing, but he came back just in time. I don't believe that he knew about his son Tommen. And the look, to me, this is my interpretation of it, but the look that he was giving Cersei when he came in just in time to see her crowned, I don't think he is going to move forward feeling the same way he always did about Cersei. This is going to tear them apart. At least I hope so. I really hope that he will finally see how she really is. She is an evil person. I mean, she really is. And, you know, when we first started watching Game of Thrones, Jaime and Cersei together were the enemy. And it was very clear to us, you know, especially when he pushed Bran out the window of the tower, that he was not a good person. But as the seasons have gone by, Cersei has stayed the same in her vindictiveness, in her conniving, you know, she's just always been a bad person. And we find Jaime changing throughout the seasons as well. And he, to me, seems like he's becoming a better person rather than a worse person. I mean, this stuff that Cersei pulled off in setting the wildfire off, I mean, that was one of the worst things I think she's done ever, I guess. I don't know if I'm super confident in saying that, but it was I mean, she took a lot of lives, and a lot of lives from her own people. You know, she didn't just kill the High Sparrow and his men. She didn't just kill Marjorie or Loras. You know, she killed a lot of her own the citizens in you know, in King's Landing there. So now I've lost my train of thought. Basically what I'm saying is I think that Jaime being with Brienne for so long, you know, and traveling during the war and just everything that he's seen and witnessed, I definitely see him pulling away from Cersei at this point, especially when he finds out what happened and finds out that Cersei was behind the entire thing, and that ultimately it is Cersei's fault that Tommen killed himself. He saw his wife get blown away, you know, all the people, everything he believed in there was just blown away. And ultimately when he died, I think that he was aware that it was something his mother had planned, and that's why he, you know, I mean, he's so young, that's why he threw himself out the window. And I think that once Jaime finds this out, he will not see Cersei in the same light. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I would really appreciate you guys letting me know about your thoughts in the comments. I have one more thing I want to talk about, so this video is going to be a little bit longer than our short daily talk. I also wanted to talk about Dany and Jon, so Daenerys and Jon Snow. Yesterday in my video, I mentioned that I talked about the R+L=J theory, okay? After I did the video, of course, I always think of these extra things that I want to talk about. So I've read a lot of theories that the Targaryens used to marry their relatives. So an aunt could marry a nephew, brother and sisters would marry, basically to keep the bloodline pure, I'm guessing. Like I said before, disclaimer, I have not read the books, but I have done a lot of research and read up on different theories and things like that. So now that we have it confirmed on the television show that Jon Snow is a Targaryen, whether or not he's a Targaryen bastard or we don't know, there is a chance that Rhaegar and Lyanna, in those 9 months that she was pregnant and kidnapped, they could have gotten married at some point. So Jon Snow may not be a bastard after all. Either way, though, he does have Targaryen blood in him. Now, at the end of season 6 finale, we see Daenerys talking to Tyrion and talking to Dario about going to Westeros, and that she will need to form alliances, and the best way to form alliances is by a marriage, and a strong marriage at that. So I really feel like once she gets to Westeros, she is going to hear about Jon Snow becoming the King of the North. And I honestly think that aligning herself, now, even though she doesn't know that he's a Targaryen, and he doesn't know at this point, he may not find out at all. You know, for that matter, we don't know when Bran is going to come back. So I feel like probably one of the best prospects for her when she arrives there is to potentially marry the King of the North. And I think, quite frankly, you know, that's a great alliance, to align yourself with the Starks, the North, and all of the houses that are underneath Jon at this point, and underneath the Starks. So in that episode, when we see all of those houses claiming, you know, proclaiming that Jon Snow is the King of the North, they all have men themselves. And a lot of them had quite a few men that did not, you know, participate in the Battle of the Bastards. So aligning herself with the North would be a great move for her, because, you know, I mean, she's got her huge army, and then aligning herself with the North. I just can't honestly think of any other way, or any other person, I guess, that she could potentially marry that would make sense, and create such an awesome alliance. And I think that at this point, you know, yesterday I said that I was wondering if Jon would want the Iron Throne at all. And I really don't think that he is the type of person to be like, oh, you know, I want to take over. I want to beat Daenerys out. I think that if he were to marry her, unbeknownst to both of them that he's a Targaryen, he could later find out that he's a Targaryen. That, or, you know, the Targaryens married their brothers and sisters and their nieces and nephews and their relatives. So it wouldn't be the worst thing ever for Jon and Daenerys to marry each other, as you know, because that's what the Targaryens did. So I think that is that's all I wanted to talk about. So my guess, my theory is that Jon and Daenerys will, you know, have that marriage alliance, but I don't think that Jon will know at the time that he's a Targaryen. So that's my guess. What are your guesses? Let me know in the comments below. This video is getting long. I'm so sorry. Make sure that you leave your Q&As for these daily talks in the comments, and I will get to them eventually. They don't have to be about Game of Thrones. I'm just very excited still about the finale, so I wanted to talk about it for a few of these episodes. Feel free to ask about The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead comics, or Outcast, or Game of Thrones if you'd like. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.